The rehearsal room breathed with the soft hum of fluorescent lights, the kind that made mirrors feel brutally honest. Jimin stood alone in front of the wall-length glass, fingers resting against the cool surface as if he could press himself back into an older reflection. The room smelled faintly of resin from the dance floor, a familiar comfort that had followed him through years of practice. Tonight, though, the reflection stared back at him with a question he hadn't asked out loud yet. It had started with whispers online, drifting in like cold air under a door. Screenshots, slowed-down clips, zoomed-in photos taken at odd angles. People who had never met him were suddenly experts on the planes of his cheekbones, the curve of his jaw, the shadow beneath his eyes. Jimin tried to laugh it off at first. The internet always found something to pick apart. Still, the words clung to him longer than he wanted to admit. He leaned closer to the mirror, studying the familiar stranger. Years of touring had sharpened his features, exhaustion had carved faint lines around his eyes. Weight had come and gone with schedules, diets, stress. Faces changed. Faces grew up. He remembered his younger self, cheeks rounder, smile softer, the kind of innocence that didn't know yet how heavy expectations could feel. The door creaked open, and the room filled with footsteps and low chatter as the others arrived. Laughter bounced off the walls, easy and warm, a sound that had carried them through storms. Jimin turned away from the mirror, letting the reflection wait. He tucked the thought into the pocket of his mind where doubts lived and pretended he hadn't been staring. Rehearsals began with muscle memory and sweat. The choreography snapped into place, every move a conversation between bodies that had learned to trust each other in silence. Jimin moved on instinct, letting the rhythm carry him forward. In motion, he forgot about the mirror. In motion, he was only breath and heartbeat, the music threading through him like a promise. But the moment the music stopped, the noise of the world rushed back in. Phones buzzed on the sidelines. Someone scrolled through headlines, their brow creasing before smoothing into neutrality. Jimin didn't ask what they saw. He already knew. The rumor had a life of its own now, and it didn't need permission to grow. Later, alone again, he sat on the edge of the practice mat and unlaced his shoes. The room felt bigger without the music, the silence loud in a way that pressed against his ears. He wondered when his face had stopped belonging to him and started belonging to everyone else. The thought made his chest tighten, a small ache he couldn't stretch away. He remembered his mother's voice from years ago, telling him that faces tell stories. That lines were proof of laughter, that shadows came from light. Back then, he'd rolled his eyes, too young to imagine a world where strangers would dissect those stories frame by frame. Now, he wished he could borrow her certainty, the simple kindness of seeing change as growth instead of damage. The mirror caught his eye again. This time, he didn't approach it. He stayed where he was, letting the distance soften the details. From here, the reflection was less about angles and more about posture, about the way his shoulders still squared when he was tired, about the way his eyes still sparked when the music hit just right. He wondered if anyone else could see that from a distance, too. Messages from fans scrolled through his phone later that night, a tide of warmth against the cold tide of rumors. Some told him he was beautiful. Some told him to ignore the noise. Some confessed their own insecurities, how they flinched at mirrors after long days. Jimin typed and erased replies, wanting to comfort everyone at once, realizing he couldn't even fully comfort himself. Sleep came in fragments. Dreams stitched together old stages and new lights, cheers that rose like waves and then fell into silence. In one dream, he touched his face and it changed shape beneath his fingers, melting and reforming into 100 versions of himself. He woke with his heart racing, the room dim and quiet, the echo of the dream lingering like a bruise. Morning brought makeup chairs and gentle hands, artists who had learned the geography of his face better than most. They worked with practiced care, brushing away fatigue, coaxing light into his eyes. Jimin watched their reflections move around him, wondered what they saw when they looked at him. A canvas? A person? Both? The stylist joked about how time was running faster than usual, and everyone laughed. Laughter was a kind of armor, Jimin thought. It didn't stop the arrows, but it made them hurt less when they landed. He smiled back, grateful for the normalcy of small talk, for the way routine could anchor him when his thoughts drifted too far. During a break, he scrolled again, against his better judgment. The comments were a storm, certainty shouted by people who had never listened to his breathing between takes, never felt the weight of a schedule pressed against their bones. He closed the app, set the phone face down as if that could quiet the noise. The silence that followed felt fragile, but it was his. He found himself thinking about the comeback, the way anticipation crackled in the air like static. New music meant new beginnings, but also new scrutiny. Every note, every step, every expression would be measured against memories that lived in other people's heads. He wondered how to honor the past without being trapped by it. That evening, he stayed late in the studio, lights dimmed low. He put on a track that hadn't been released yet, one that felt like a confession without words. As he moved, the music pulled him out of his head and back into his body. His face softened into expressions he didn't plan, emotion finding its way out through muscle and breath. In that moment, he wasn't an image to be analyzed. He was a story in motion. The mirror reflected sweat and focus, not rumors. Jimin caught his own eyes and held them this time. There was fear there, yes, but there was also resolve. He had learned to dance through criticism before. He could learn to stand still inside it now. He thought about how change was inevitable, how even stillness was a kind of movement. Faces changed because life happened to them. Late nights, early mornings, laughter, tears, growth, loss. Each left its mark. The problem wasn't that his face had changed. The problem was the world's insistence that change needed permission. When the others returned, the room filled again with noise and warmth. Someone nudged him playfully, asking if he was ready to run the set one more time. Jimin nodded, feeling the familiar rush of anticipation. The stage lights weren't on yet, but he could feel them waiting, patient and bright. As they took their places, he breathed in deeply, letting the moment settle. The music would start soon, and with it, the reminder of why he was here. Not to be frozen in time, not to fit a photograph, but to move, to feel, to tell stories with his body and voice. The beat dropped, and Jimin stepped forward into the light that wasn't there yet, carrying both the weight of the whispers and the warmth of the people who believed in him. His face, changed or unchanged, caught the glow of the practice room and reflected it back, imperfect and alive.